Welcome to the K. Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the K. Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. K. Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580 thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. And I have Dr. Marc Graham, Ph.D., is a distinguished engineer, educator, and innovator with a passion for design, teaching, and creativity. A proud East Cleveland native, he excelled as a straight-A student and champion wrestler before earning his bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in mechanical engineering from MIT. With nearly 20 years of teaching experience, over 30 years of industry experience, and 14 patents to his name, Dr. Graham has played a key role in developing life-changing medical devices. Beyond engineering, he is a devoted husband and father of three, a music lover, and an avid traveler. He now consults with startups and established companies, driving innovation and product development. Hi, Marc. How are you doing?
All right. How's it going?
Great. Thank you for, accepting the interview. And guess what, you guys? So Dr. Marc Graham, I'm still going to call him Dr. Marc Graham. That is my first cousin. Now, let me tell you. So my dad is the oldest out of four. Then Dr. Graham's mom is next, so Aunt Sandy. So shout out Aunt Sandy. But this is my first cousin. You see all that 14 patents under his name? So we're going to go ahead and get into this interview. So you grew up in East Cleveland with a single mother and an older brother. How did your upbringing shape your drive for success?
Well, I say, my family was very supportive growing up. My mother always encouraged me to chase my dreams. I looked up to my older brother, Carlos, and tried to emulate a lot of things that he was doing. And I say often, probably unknowingly, he guided me along the way.
Aww.
Yeah, and until high school, I guess what really shaped me is until high school, I had never attended a school for longer than 2 years. So, there was constant change, and that meant that I was always meeting new people, learning new things, and then moving on. Those varied experiences helped me discover my interests, and I always aimed to excel in whatever I chose to do. And once I knew what I wanted to do, just dedicated myself to being the best at it.
Oh, wow. Okay. And shout out to Carlos. That's the oldest. Willis. So shout out to my cousin. That's so awesome. And so you said that family was very supportive. Shout out to the Willis family and the Grahams. You looked up to your older brother, and he was actually guiding you. So you mentioned as well that you never attended a school longer than 2 years. Is there any reason why you never attended a school longer than 2 years?
Man, there are lots of reasons. Let me see. So, kindergarten, there was a school right next door to us. Mm-hmm. And I started there. Then after the first 2 years, they started a busing program. And I was bused to the west side of Cleveland for school. And I went there for maybe a year and a half or so. And then we moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan. And I went to school there for about another year and a half. And we moved back to Ohio, to Warrensville Heights. Same thing, about a year and a half. I was kind of in the middle of the school year or the start of the school years we moved. We moved to Shaker Heights and lived there for about a year and a half. Then I moved to East Cleveland. And by that time I was around, I was in 7th grade when I moved to East Cleveland. And the middle school was overcrowded. It used to be Kirk Middle School. Mm-hmm. So I was at Superior Elementary School in 7th grade for a 7th grade year, and we were doing sports at the middle school. So I was on the track team. It was too late. It was in the middle of wrestling season, so I didn't get to pick up my wrestling season in 7th grade. But I was able to run track in the spring. And then the next year I was at Kirk Middle School for 8th grade. And after that, Shaw High School, and that was the first school that I attended for longer than 2 years.
Oh, wow. And you excelled at Shaw High School, even with your other experiences, probably was, you know, different, but you excelled everywhere you went, so that's good.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay. And then speaking of Shaw High School, you were a straight A student and champion wrestler in high school at Shaw. How did wrestling influence your academic and professional mindset?
I'd say the biggest thing I got from wrestling was, you know, it showed me that I could achieve even the most difficult of goals. And it also showed me that, you know, how as an individual contributor, I could play a crucial role in a team's success. So, you know, in engineering, oftentimes especially as an early engineer, you're an individual contributor. You know, you have a set of tasks, things that you need to accomplish, and you kind of work through that on your own as part of a team. You know, you'll have your portion of the work. And as you grow as an engineer and more senior engineer, then you're more in a leadership position and guiding others in their engineering work, kind of setting the framework of how things need to be done and, you know, helping others get through it. So it's a lot like a sport, you know, especially wrestling, where you start off as an individual on a team. Everybody has their own match, but it adds up to the team score. And, you know, as you become more senior, a captain, you know, of the team or whatever, then you're really helping others to achieve their goals as well.
Okay. Now, also, what made you want to go into wrestling?
Carlos, my brother.
Okay.
He did it before I did. You know, I saw he was good at it, and he put me in a lot of headlocks too. So I figured I needed to learn. So that's what got me started.
So that's awesome. Shout out once again to cousin Carlos. So you was tired of getting put in those headlocks. You said, I'm about to put you in a headlock next. Let me go ahead and see how to do that. And then you mentioned that a lot of wrestling and engineering is the same because it's a task you have to accomplish, a portion of the work, leadership, and everyone has their own match, just like in wrestling. So I like how you gave that analogy. They're both the same, wrestling and engineering, just basically getting to the goals and helping others.
Yeah, a lot of similarities, you know, being an individual on a larger team, playing your part and helping others achieve their goals as well.
That's good. Now, you were undefeated. How did you become undefeated? Like, what was your mindset every time you were going to the matches?
My mindset was, you know, I don't want to be telling myself next week that I could have won. But I guess what first set me on that path was the junior high school coach that I had at the start of the season told me that I was going to be undefeated.
Oh, wow.
You know, so he put that in my head. And since then, I've made that as a goal that, you know, I would have an undefeated season. And for like 3 out of 4 of them, or 3 out of 5, junior high school, I was undefeated. And 3 of my high school seasons, I had undefeated seasons. So.
Now, who was your junior high school coach?
The late Joe Fox.
All right. Rest in peace to the
he
late
was a great
Joe.
guy. He was a science teacher at Kirk Middle School.
Okay.
And he put that in my head. And then in high school, you know, I had very, very supportive coaches as well, and the team. Everybody was supportive. So, you know, being in a place where your team was more like family. You know, we would all hang out together, do things together, lose weight together, practice, you know, spend time together after school, weekends. So, you know, really close bonds there, and it was just fun.
So that also shows how when you're around who influenced you? You know, when you're around someone and if they're encouraging you, it actually helps you. Because being in East Cleveland, that is a city that has its challenges on its own. So instead of you know, being around the other crowd, you was around people that knew your greatness all the greatness that you have, and they could see that in you, and they wanted to encourage you, and then you guys encouraged each other. So that's a good nugget for people to take, a good gem, that be surrounded around people that's going to encourage you, that's going to motivate you, and that's going to see the best in you. Because like you said, your coach Fox, he saw that in you. He said, you're going to be undefeated. You put that in your mindset. I'm undefeated. So, you thought about that. That's awesome.
Something I'd say too. You mentioned the other crowd. So even the other crowd, I say, was supportive.
Oh wow!
People end up in situations, based on their situation, yes. Right? So I knew some people that were doing some, I'd say, bad things, mm-hmm. but I wouldn't necessarily say that they were bad people. Mm-hmm. And it was really sad in a lot of cases where people had so much potential, but got pulled in other directions. But at the same time, those people never tried to pull me in that direction. They were very supportive of what I was doing, So I have a certain viewpoint of people that get caught up in those situations just based on my own personal experience. And I know that, in some cases, it can turn things around, so you should never give up on anybody.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Come on now. I love that. Like you said, never give up on someone, because some people that are in those situations, they're not in it because they want to be in it. They're in it because, unfortunately, that's the gateway. They have to, some people have to eat. And sometimes...
some people have some really tough times, yeah.
Yes. And sometimes that's what they have to do. So it's very unfortunate, but I love it when people could come out. And even when they have to go through those things, and they come out and say, look, I still made it. After that, I got out of that, and I still made it. So that is amazing. And I'm glad that they never, pressured you. They saw the greatness in you as well. So shout out to that. East Cleveland, they have their reunion every year. They have one of the largest class reunions in Cleveland area. So mm-hmm. Shaw High School seems like it was a school that's like family. That's what it seems like.
People are really close.
Yeah, people are.
Yeah,
really
I noticed a lot of people there were generations deep. Mm-hmm. Like I said, we moved there in the 7th grade, but they've been people whose parents knew each other and went to school together. So it was like being welcomed into a family. In a lot of cases, and really close friends to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know it's really big. Every year, people always come out. Every grade too. It's not like it's one year. It's like all the years. Anyone who went to Shaw High School, they all come out. So shout out to Shaw High School in East Cleveland. Yes. So East Cleveland, for the people that aren't aware, is actually a city in the Cleveland, Ohio area. So they have an east side of Cleveland, but East Cleveland is actually a city. And Shaw High School is the high school in that city. And if you went to Shaw High School, it really is like family. It reminds me of like a HBCU, because I attended Central State, and everyone at Central State is family. It doesn't matter. You see someone with that Central State decal on their car, is family. You're going to, So that's what Shaw High School reminds me of. I'm glad that you guys have that family. Yes. So, MIT. MIT is one of the most prestigious institutions in the world. What was it like attending MIT, and what challenges did you face as a student?
Attending MIT was priceless. Can't really compare it to anything. Every day was a new challenge, and it was exciting. I was surrounded by incredibly smart people that were doing amazing things, and that inspired me and pushed me to reach my full potential. At times, I wish they were easier, mm-hmm. But like I said, my diverse background and life experiences leading up to college, that prepared me for just about anything. So I was up for the challenge. But at the same time, it was difficult, There were a lot of nights without sleep, few meals between, but, just doing one thing at a time, one goal at a time, and making sure I was prepared for whatever was coming down my way.
All right. So you said you were surrounded by a lot of smart people. I mean, you're surrounded by a lot of smart people all day because you are very intelligent. So, I mean, besides yourself, because you are very smart. That's awesome. And then you said you're a lot of people doing some amazing things. What were some amazing things that people were doing at MIT?
You name it. I mean, they're like, professors who are Nobel Prize winners.
Whoa.
So when I say smart, I mean like, different level smart. It was, these, just the MIT, it just has a pulse. Like when you're there, you can feel, the innovation in the area. You see it all around you. AI lab was, AI started at MIT. It's a big thing now, but that was there in the 90s. It was a lab there for that. And you have a lot with the, bioengineering going on. I was mechanical engineering. And you hear about the U.S. first competitions, and Dean came in with the Segway and all that stuff. And, that was all out of a MIT design competition for sophomores that led to the U.S. first. It's, which is like FIRST Robotics now that all of the high schools have teams for, a lot of high schools. Electrical engineering, people doing great things there, computer science, and even in like economics and other areas to the business school, people just doing so much that, it pushes you to want to do more and exposes you to other things that you could be doing. So, I'm mechanical engineering, but I may do some things outside my major just because, I find them interesting. So it opens up your eyes, lets you see different, a different way of looking at things, and kind of changes your perspective.
Wow. So it was kind of like the Jetsons when you went there. You got to see everything like we have now. You already, it was, I know about that.
Hey, it's funny that you mentioned that because the highway in Boston, and it was like this when I arrived at MIT, was kind of designed so that the cars would look like they're flying through the air like the jets. It's an elevated highway.
Wow.
Since then, they did the Big Dig project, so now everything going through the city is underground as opposed to over the city. It looks a lot nicer, because now they have parks in the space where it was a highway before. But, it was, kind of meant to look like the Jetsons.
Wow, the future.
At least that's what I was told.
Oh, wow.
It didn't look like that, though.
So, what made you, like, when you got accepted to MIT, how was that? What made you want to apply? And once you got accepted, how was...
What made me want to apply? So, while I was in high school, I spent 3 summers at a program in Andover, Massachusetts. It's called MS Square, Math and Science for Minority Students.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was fortunate to attend that program. My homeroom teacher actually handed me an application one day and said, you should really apply for this program.
Wow.
And he pushed me. He even had another student who was in the program from another school come to our high school to talk to me about it. And, so I applied, and I was admitted. First time away from home, taking a plane, landing in Massachusetts, and I got there, and similar to MIT, it was an eye-opening experience. Students came in from all over the country, a lot of smart students, all with their own individual goals and everything. I had a lot of close friends in that program that I keep in contact with till today.
That's awesome.
One of them, my best friend from the program, Charles Hightower, from Atlanta, he introduced me to MIT in our 3rd year of the program. He was saying that he wanted to go to MIT. And I was like, what's MIT? I didn't even know. And he was like, man, that's the #1 engineering school in the world. I said, okay, that sounds like a good choice. But that summer we got to visit colleges in New England. Whoa. So, of course, MIT was one of them. Mm-hmm. And out of all the colleges that we visited, like I said, MIT just had a pulse. If you like technology and you want to do innovation, when you arrive on campus, it's in the air. You can feel it, and that college just vibed with me more than any other that we visited. So, I set my sights on it, and when I got back to high school, I tried to fill any gaps that I thought I might have in my education. Even though our high school didn't have AP courses, I studied really hard for the exams, and excuse me, and I felt like I submitted a good application. So I was pretty confident that I had a chance, but I knew that there was also a great chance that I wouldn't be admitted. But when I got the letter, I was excited. First thing I did was wrote a letter, the old snail mail, sent it to my buddy. And I'm sure about the same time that he received mine, I received his saying that he was admitted as well. So, we were roommates at MIT. And even after college, at my first job, his second job out of college, we worked together in North Carolina and were roommates there. Still, very, very close friends to this day. So
that is awesome. Shout out to Charles Hightower and your homeroom teacher. So does that program still exist?
But yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's going strong.
Okay, that's good. And they're still going into other communities to choose students to get into the program and everything?
Yeah, they accept students nationally. Most of the students in the program were from New York, Georgia, and Texas. But, there were sprinkles of us from other places. Kentucky, Ohio, and there's a few other states. But the major states, from what I remember, were New York, Texas, and Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Typically schools with magnet programs, I believe, is where they recruit from. So, I guess it was kind of a series of lucky events or fortunate events that, got me to that program and to MIT. But, I didn't question it. I just was thankful and went ahead and did what I had to do.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that Charles motivated you and, your homeroom teacher just exposed you to that. And I'm glad you took up on that offer. I mean, like I said, first time away from home, all by yourself. And I know that had to be challenging, but you made it, different. So I'm excited about that. That's good. Did not know that about my big cuz. Then you worked in North Carolina as well. How was that?
Mm-hmm. That was nice. Yeah, so I worked in North Carolina for 3 years full time after completing my master's degree, and then a couple years part time after I started my doctorate. I got really close to some people down there too. I have 2 kids that I mentored who are full grown adults now. 30s, one's about to be 40.
Wow.
But I met them through a mentoring program at my church, and I just was in one of them's wedding as father of the groom.
Aww.
So yeah, it's really, really great friendships down there as well.
That is amazing. So you were a mentor and they made you the father of the groom. So that shows the impact that you have on people, not only just your family. We look up to you as well. That's my big cousin. We look up to you as well. But also on other people. It just shows the amazing person that you are inside and out. You're not just smart. You are a great person as well. So thank God for that. I appreciate that, cuz. And how was the wedding?
It was wonderful. Yeah, it was really nice. They rented a place out like a a resort almost outside of the city.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of family was there, really big families on both sides. The music was great, the food was great, the company was great. So, really enjoyed it.
How did it feel when he asked you to be the father of the groom?
It was an honor. I was really happy. He's called me dad for, decades. And, at one point, I even told him, trying to tell him that, a father is more than a mentor.
Yes.
And saying, how much I appreciated that, but I wanted him to understand how important it is to be a father.
Yes.
But, he wasn't hearing that as far as he was concerned. I was his dad, So that was great, and I went with it, and I've tried to live up to that for him as best I can. And, it still really means a lot to me, as well as my other little buddy from that time who's, about a foot taller than me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
That is amazing.
Great guys.
Wow. Yes. Well, we are going to get back into this on part 2 as well. This is part 1, but we have to hear some more. We need an encore of Dr. Graham. How can the listeners reach out to you?
Probably LinkedIn would be the best way to contact me.
Okay.
I have other social media profiles, but they probably wouldn't be as easy to find. My LinkedIn profile should be a straightforward approach.
Okay. So yeah, LinkedIn, and then also, you have the song Kings and Queens. If you guys want to download Kings and Queens, it's on Apple Music, and it's on Spotify as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yes, it's on Spotify, Apple Music, Kings and Queens he goes by Polo. That is his name, and you guys can get that with also Cleveland's own Jason Champion. So you guys can listen to that. And also if you guys want to be a sponsor, sponsor the show, we are accepting sponsors. You can email me at kwillis, Positive Vibes Talk Show at gmail.com. And this is K Willis with K Willis, Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. Like, share, and subscribe to the K Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the K Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Check out my book, The Principles of Overcoming Life's Obstacles, a 31-day journey to positive living, available on Amazon.com. Just type K Willis. And thank you for tuning in to the K Willis Positive Vibes podcast.